Yeah. Very good morning to all of you students, and welcome to a special session that we are going to have today. Students from SP College have already had a glimpse of what I am going to speak of today, but today's lecture is going to be a bit detailed on the title MOOCs, which is actually an abbreviation. Before I start with a few things, that this is going to be a friendly lecture, I would rather say. This should remove all inhibitions and prejudices you may have for or against MOOCs. To start with, if you see just below the welcome slide, you see this shown a small photograph. This is basically a Google Doodle, which Google had posted a couple of years ago. And I have purposely taken it up. Most of you all must have recognized the personality in that because I belong to Savitribai Phule University. And secondly, she was instrumental in getting the women folk into education. The Google Doodle here honors this particular personality. I'm very proud to be a ex-student and a present faculty of this particular university. So I would like to begin my presentation with this particular slide. Then I owe a lot to my alma mater, the SP College. And this is the grand main building of our college. After that, this was a milestone we reached 4 years ago, I would say. 2016, our college completed 100 years, and we celebrated our centenary year in 2016. As a student of this particular college and now a faculty of this particular college, I am immensely indebted to my college. Going further, you must have read about NAC and its accreditation, and many colleges get accredited by the NAC. And just to remind you all, it was October 2017 that SP College got its A+ grade, which is amongst the highest of the grades that the NAC accredits to the various colleges who apply for the accreditation. These were a few basic to start with, and yes, we come to our session. It's going to be MOOCs as a modern tool in lifelong learning. Now, I'm calling this lifelong learning basically because I have a purpose behind this. Yes, this lecture is for students of first year, BA, BSc, and BCom if anyone has joined. But MOOCs can be taken up at any part of time in your life, and that is why I have titled it as lifelong learning. A few things that you can see on the screen. I believe that teaching is a harmonious job. You have to synchronize a lot of things, and online has also come up to stay with those. So even if you are on campus in a classroom or you are online, it is a synchronous job. You have to do a lot of things and they have to blend into each other just like an orchestra performing. So I've put that GIF up there. And towards the center of the slide, it's basically a relationship between students and teachers as such. The longer pencil is basically the teacher, and he or she, I'm not gender biased about it, is conducting a class, and the class comprises of various students. The very reason that some teachers become popular and some not is because probably they miss out on these aspects in the class. Class management is to understand the group of students. And here you'll see a representation of a few. The first two, you'll see you will have friends who move in groups. You must have seen these characters around you when you were in school and junior college. And of course, you will see this when you enter undergrad college on campus as well. So they will move around in groups, and one is absent, the other one is also absent. So you have one type. And then you have those studious, and of course they are literally in love with the college and studies and the teacher. You can see the expression in the third person's eyes, how he or she is engrossed in what the teacher is telling. Coming back to the teacher, the styles of different teachers may obviously be different. And then you have the fourth character, who is engrossed in reading, and he or she is all on her own. They study, and of course they perform all their duties on their own. The last one is the most common one that we see in our classes. You'll see these students are running behind the schedule. They will come late to class. They not have their notes updated, and they'll run between students here and there and between classes seeking for notes, advice, and they run after teachers to ask for various things. I think in the present scenario, there is one character missing in this, a person carrying a mobile phone, isn't it? It is here that we could have one more character who's carrying a mobile phone and is totally engrossed on the mobile phone as well. Anyway, so this was about this particular starting slide as such. Uh, why do I speak on MOOC? Let me tell you that I have started doing my MOOCs way back in 2013, which is around 7, 8 years from now. And the first of the MOOCs that I did was from the Harvard University. It was on human health and global environment. You'll see that most of the MOOCs that I have done are related to my core subject, and that is geography. I followed it up with our energetic earth, and then natural disasters, and then making sense of climate change. And you'll see that from Harvard to Toronto to McGill University, and then I jumped to the other part of the globe in Australia. And till 2017, I had done a course on mountains from the University of Alberta. And then I did one on, again, climate history and processes, which was hosted by the Manchester University. You'll see that I have written an abbreviation in bracket that was basically to remind me of a few things. BYOE. Now, if you go to this particular Manchester University, or you go to the Google search platform and you type BYOE, it immediately spells you out a particular thing. I would persuade geography students to actually type BYOE in. Others also can try, it hardly matters. BYOE basically stands for Build Your Own Earth. It's an hypothetical model that the University of Manchester has built. And you can literally alter the percentages of gases and temperatures and pressure. And in fact, the rate at which the Earth spins around its axis and it goes around the sun. And you can just type submit and you get an analysis of it. It's a wonderful thing that you can basically do with an hypothetical and imaginary thing that could happen with the Earth. So I would persuade you all to do this. It's very interesting and it's very entertaining also. So I have been doing all these courses way back from 2013. And I'm very proud to present my first of my certificate. This was which I received exactly August 21st, 2013. And it is a verified certificate. If you see at the bottom, it authenticates that I have done this particular course as such. So that was an interesting thing and a few things that I wanted to share with you all. Now, coming with the first aspect, you'll see that why or from when did all this online and MOOC thing started coming up. You'll see that computers and then followed with internet. You can search on the Google as to when computers started being used and then follow it up with when internet started being used. So a combination of computers and internet. It changes. They came in as add-on devices and they changed a lot of things and they brought about new heights of vivid possibilities. This was happening around 3 decades ago. And at the same time, you'll see that India was experiencing the LPG model, globalization, liberalization, and privatization. And both these things brought about, now actually the phrase, saying is sea of change. I would go beyond that. I would have a broader scale. I would say it brought about an ocean of change with various systems. And of course, education system could not be left out of that. However, a myth came along with these things that teachers would soon be redundant. And the fact that I'm still delivering a lecture in front of you means that this was really a myth. And at no point of time, teachers can be replaced by technology is my personal belief as such. However, we need to re-evaluate this, the role of the teacher and of course the role of the participants here. And as a consequence, we need to innovate modern means and methods. And I would say that MOOCs is a modern mean and methods as far as attending classes is concerned or looking into the whole frame of the education, learning and evaluation as well. It was 8 years ago from today, that was way back in 2012, that 2012 was declared as the year of the MOOC. And since then, the long form of it, massive online open courses, have emerged as a promising field to provide free and low cost education to masses through customized learning management programs as such. However, it brings in a lot of difficulty. There could be a clutter of which course to do, which universities to select, which platform to select, and all this. I would try to attend to a few of the prominent platforms in my lecture. Just to give you a philosophy of why MOOCs may have started, you'll see that internet, I said that internet and computer brought about a lot of change. And major universities of the world, let us say, to name a few, let us say Cambridge and Oxford and Harvard and MIT, etc. Obviously, these institutes had limited capacities to accommodate students. And as a consequence, students from different parts of the world who wanted to go there were not able to. And of course, poor students from different continents, again, were not able to attend these institutes. As I said, computers and internet brought in a new possibility as such. The professors from here now could record a lecture, and they could just throw it across a platform. And students in different corners of the world could now very well attend these classes as such. And MOOCs was a seed for that, I would rather say. But though we are speaking about the 90s, it took literally a decade, or I would say decade and a half, for things to settle down. And it was not before 2005 that people actually started organizing formal MOOCs and so on and so forth. If you want to go into the details, the theory of MOOCs as such, by the way, Dave Cormier, who the name you are seeing on your screen, is basically the person who coined this particular word. Dave Cormier, who coined the word massive open online courses as such, and abbreviated as MOOCs. And you go to YouTube, and I have given you these three links: Introduction to MOOCs by the horse himself, I would rather say, Dave Cormier. And further, Dave speaks about the success in MOOCs. And of course, he also speaks about the knowledge in the MOOCs. So the real purpose why he thought about all these things can be, and these are around 7 to 8 minutes. So you can finish watching all of them by around 25 minutes or so. And it will give you a real sense as to why scientists thought about bringing these things to fore with the help of computers and technologies as such. So these are the links for the three clips you can watch on YouTube as such. What exactly is a MOOC? As you can see, it was coined by Dave Cormier in 2008. And some people, even today, it was not only then, some people even today think that, is it going to school? Some people think, is it just an online course? I would say it is neither going to school, it is neither just online course. It is a fantastic way of learning, educating, and I would further say entertaining ourselves individually as such. Let us look at a few milestones, I would say, as far as MOOC history is concerned. 2007, it was David Willey who opened a wiki-based course, but of course it did not classify as one of the first MOOCs. It was 2008 that the term MOOC was coined, and then a few courses. You can search for these prime terms in Google, and you'll get explanations to that as to what exactly CCK08 was, and so on and so forth. It was in 2011 that Stanford's first fall class attracted around 160,000 enrollments. Now, just imagine a physical class would not attract more than a few thousand at the most. But you'll see that here you have a course which is attracting 160,000 plus students. And it was in 2012 that a professor left Stanford, and he co-founded what is called as Udacity. I'm going to speak on in detail as far as what these are. And the same year, MIT launched MITx. MIT, of course, is the US-based MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And then what is interesting for us is that two Stanford professors, they left Stanford and they launched what was called as Coursera. And then Eventually, MIT and Harvard came together and they launched EDX. By 2013, remember this was the year that I had done my first course. It was by 2013 the whole world was MOOCified, a very interesting adjective that has been used in this slide as such. What are MOOCs? It is basically a support, it's convenience, it is innovation, it's technology, it's complete, it's attention, it's online, it's experience, it's simple education. It's a lot of people coming together, it's special knowledge, you name it and you have it in this particular tool. It's new learning, it's accessibility, it's discussion, it's the world going digital, it's online enrolling, it's everyone, it's project, it's questions. You literally have all of these things compressed in this abbreviation called as MOOC, that's MOOC. Uh, just to go into a bit of detail as to what exactly a MOOC is, it's massive. The student numbers could be hundreds of thousands, and now in fact it is lakhs. And you'll see that this is catching up in India also. To the right side, you can see what exactly is the networking as far as MOOCs is concerned. You network with people, you network with material, and of course, you are using a lot of technology. And then while you are networking, you'll see that you are using all social media platforms and sites, right? From you are blogging, and then of course you are going on Twitter, and you have Facebook, and you have YouTube, and you have all these sources that can help you to learn. We have been using them for entertainment purpose, political purpose. Let me tell you that MOOC advises us to look at it from a different point of time, angle totally, and how we could enhance our educative skills here. It's open. M stands for massive number of students. O stands for open. You can study any course from anywhere at any point of time. That's the most fantastic thing that I love about MOOCs. Any course. It's not like the Indian system that you want to study physics, you have to have physics in 12th standard and 11th standard. It hardly matters for these guys. You just can take up any course, and of course anywhere. You are in India, you take up a course in Canada, you take up a course in Brazil, you take up a course in South Africa, anywhere, and of course anytime. Times hardly matter, okay, as far as these things are concerned. So these are the few fantastic things. And then of course, as I said, the second O in the sequence is it's online. This is as against face to face. It's basically a blend of all these things that you are seeing towards the right of your screen. All these things are being blended together, courtesy to online, courtesy to internet, I would say. And of course, the last unit in this is a course. It's learning units. You are doing geography, you're doing history, you're doing psychology, you do chemistry, physics, music, language, politics, economics. Okay, the IMF, the World Bank, you name it and you have it. You'll have some platform which is offering you this item, this certificate course to enroll and of course get through it. So that's the fantastic thing as far as MOOCs are concerned. As what exactly is a MOOC? Some people still ask, is it distance learning? Yes, I would say distance learning. But students of today, the new millennium children, I would say, would not be aware of what exactly distance learning was. We did have a very crude type of say online learning once upon a time, say around 3-4 decades ago. And we, of course, then did not have all these web-based online education, virtual environment, and so on and so forth. It was basically something which was very crude. Okay, and what exactly this was, you'll see that you had something like correspondence courses. In fact, correspondence courses did run till around 2 decades ago, around 2000 till 2000. You'll see that all these courses which are now running online had their own written material, and they used to send it to you by post, and then you could mail your assignments to the professors, and they would evaluate it for you all. Presently in India, you'll see that the IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and in Maharashtra, you have the YCMOU, the Yashwantrao Chavan Open University as such. And then, of course, you have these test series that you tend to apply. Nowadays, of course, it is fast going redundant, but there was a time wherein you used to write these test series and mail them back. In fact, you'll see that board exam people do this. Okay, you have these scholars, test series, and so on and so forth. You literally write on a sheet of paper which resembles your board sheet, and then you send it, and the teacher evaluates you, and so on and so. This is correspondence course. I would say MOOC is much for ahead of that. It is e-learning. Of course, between MOOC and all these things happening, you had the TV and you had the CD-ROM that came in, and these people used to mail you CDs. You had to basically run that CD and see that. It was asynchronous, I would say. You could stop the CD and then wait and think about it, or it was a mix of all of these things together. Okay, you had to run it at one particular time, you had to write your assignments, and so on and so forth. So slowly you'll see that all these things in education kept on evolving, and you had these new LMS, learning management systems, or as we are going to speak about it today, the MOOC, massive online open courses. This consists of packages of preparation of teaching material. Okay, it's already done and it is presented to you. You could have live lectures, you could have discussion forums, and of course, as well as for management courses and so on and so forth. MOOCs are for a significant number of MOOCs even today are occurred free to unlimited students. But then these days, you'll see that some of the MOOCs are asking for a basic fee, and why that is asked for, I will just confirm when we move ahead. So this is from an age of correspondence or distance learning. We have come to live streaming, live learning, and MOOCs is one of the most advanced formats of that. E-learning and MOOCs, I would just ask you all to very carefully look at this particular slide. Okay, I am speaking of the first four platforms, and then I would be speaking about the Indian platforms also. I have purposefully set up Coursera as it's in fact one of the biggest content providers of education in MOOC, and it is followed by EDX actually, and then Udacity follows. I've just put it in a random way as such. Udacity is, and in the brackets you will find I've given you the URLs of these respective platforms as well. It is a content provider for offspring and free computer classes. So it's more to do with computers as far as Udacity is concerned. So as far as general aspects are concerned, you'll normally see that Coursera and EDX are the more common ones used, basically because they pan across various universities, and they give you various courses as per your liking. And then you have Udemy, which is another one. It's a content and platform provider, private experts of any kind, and you'll see that it has its links on YouTube as well. Now this is the international scenario. I would request you all to just log on to this, and what you are to do with after logging on, I will just let you know as well. The procedures more or less are the same for all the platforms, even the Indian ones. As far as the Indian one is concerned, you must have heard about Swayam these days. For the last couple of years, Swayam is making a lot of hustle and rustle as far as Indian rounds are concerned. It's a program which has been initiated by the government of India, and it is basically to reach people, and of course, so that maximum number of students in India have an access. There is an equity and equality as far as educational purpose is concerned. It makes an attempt to reach the most disadvantaged of the population in this country as well. More near to home, you'll see that the Savitribai Phule University also has its own e-learning initiatives, and I'm going to speak about that for a small period of time also. Let us move ahead. Why should one offer a MOOC? Okay, what should a MOOC do for an individual, for an university? You'll see that a MOOC can profile an institution. It's not only an institution that it could profile. You'll see that it's the thing that is going to happen in the 21st century. It could profile an individual also. The very reason I'm speaking to you on MOOC is basically because I am into it early, and I can invest time, and of course I can speak on it for a whole session. Then we'll see that MOOC will, and of course has been, a game changer as to how education is delivered and consumed. And here I would say that it is more to do with the speed. Now you'll see that just let us compare, or let us contrast between a book and a good content on a MOOC platform. You'll see that when a book goes into formation, I'm not referring to textbooks which are written overnight and then published the next day. I'm referring to reference books which take referencing for years together, and then you put it together, then it goes for publishing, then it goes for printing, and then it comes into the market. Once into the market, then you purchase it, and then you start. There is say at least a time lag of 1.5 years by the time the thought of the book comes in, and that thought lands into your hand in the form of a reference book. Of course, some books are stock, but then most of the books need to be upgraded with technology and so on and so forth. You could say that plate tectonics in geography is a concept which would not change, but the way you present it, the photographs that you put it, new discoveries, innovations as far as studying, research with regards that, of course, will come for. Now, MOOC is something that you say you devise an idea, you record a lecture, you format, and I would say that a complete MOOC hardly takes 6 months to format if the content and the design is ready. In fact, it was just a couple of weeks ago that a number of students were asking me to speak on MOOCs, and then, okay, I said, okay, let me speak to you about MOOCs also. And here I am in speaking in front of you. Now, just imagine if you were hunting for a MOOC book and possibly it is an older edition. So you'll see that it's something which is real time. It's very fast as compared to say hardbound copies. And so, of course, I'm not demeaning hardbound copies, that it has its own stature and status as far as education system is concerned. But someone or for those who are looking for something latest happening fast around them, MOOCs is the thing, I would rather say. Then you'll see that MOOCs allows students as well as teachers to experiment with practices of education as well. And then you'll see that MOOCs can institutions like the IITs, the Institute of Sciences, and the management things, okay, all these can showcase their best content and the staff, okay, through their MOOCs that they would conduct. And of course, then you have an institution can make knowledge more accessible to the general public. Just like the basic philosophy, I would say, MOOCs, it applies for India also. Why did the government think of Swayam? Basically because in spite of hundreds and thousands of colleges and the millions of students who are learning in them, we were not able to get hold of the best of the teachers and the best of the material. It is through Swayam that possibly this could be done as far as the Indian scenario, and of course with MOOCs in the global scenario as well. So that is what is MOOC. Now here I've purposefully put up a slide which gives you a list of various platforms that offer you, and of course you still see that Coursera is the one you can see here, and then you have the Khan Academy, etc. You'll see that EDX or Khan Academy, or even the Unacademy. I'm going to speak about the Unacademy also. You'll see that they have revolutionized this sector of MOOC, and you have fantastic success stories for EDX and Khan Academy, and of course the Unacademy. I'm just going to refer to a couple of them. Coming to this EDX, I've purposely put this up basically because if you see the person in the photograph, and if you're able to read his name on your screen, he is Mr. Anand Agarwal. He's one of those who left out of MIT, and they joined this MIT and Harvard, and they formulated this EDX. Okay, you'll see that they put together, it's basically a non-profit organization which runs on open EDX, open source software platforms, and so on and so forth. They have millions and millions of enrollment. I would say this is, I always recommend EDX platform basically because possibly it's my prejudice, I would say, but I have found out that since Anand Agarwal is on the board there, somewhere I find a lot of Indianness as far as these courses are concerned. And you don't feel lost when you're doing these. Okay? That typical Indian aspect that is required is taken care of, I believe, as far as these courses are concerned. So normally I suggest students to take up EDX, and you'll see that EDX is one of the, say, if I'm to name the two major platforms of the world, there's only two, Coursera and EDX. So these two are the best of the platforms you could have. Of course, given on the style of a particular individual, you can select your own platform, but I still believe that EDX is more Indianized. And of course, this is one of the most famous stories, the Unacademy. Unacademy, you must be seeing these IPL matches these days, and every time a batsman cracks a six, they say it's an Unacademy six as such. This was something which was established by a few entrepreneurs in India, and one of them was Roman Saini. Now, this guy, He is an MBBS, is Dr. Roman Saini. He enters the civil services at the age 21. It's the age wherein majority of us are thinking, okay, let me start studying for the UPSC and so on and so forth. This guy cracks the UPSC in 21. He completes his course, his I would say induction course, and say by 2014 he's out of it. By the age 23 he's out of it, and he launches this Unacademy, and you'll see that 14-15 Unacademy starts, and it has grown so large today that it can sponsor one segment of a major event that is happening as far as sporting sectors are concerned. So and all this has been possible basically because the online things that have gone in. You see that it's not exactly very similar to a MOOC, but you take targeted courses under an academy and so on and so forth. I'm referring to this basically because of it being a success story, how online teaching has helped the entrepreneurs as well as the teachers who, the taught, I would rather say, students who are taking advantage of these things happening around them. Yeah, coming back to what you should be doing. Okay, you'll see that when you search for a particular course, you could say, for example, now I've just taken screenshots of Coursera, and this is how your screen should look. Of course, before that, you would have to do a few things. That is, you will have to give them your mail ID, and they will send you the user ID and the possible password on the on your mail. You get that, and then you log into these systems. You can obviously change your password the moment you have logged in for the first time. They'll give you a list of things that may happen. Now here I've purposely taken up the various courses that I've done, a few courses that I have not been able to do, and a few courses that I have completed, and so on and so forth. The right corner, you would say that's me, and of course this is my login page of Coursera, and these are the various courses. Now, of these, you'll see that I have completed a few, and I'm recently viewing a few courses. You'll see that here, and most of the courses you'll see are related to earth sciences. That obviously, earth science is my core, it's my forte, and it's topics around that which would impress me. Now, if you have selected a particular course and you log into that particular course, you'll see that this is how your screen interface would look like. Okay, you'll see, I'll just explain to you what all this is about. Towards the left side, you would have the week 1 and the week 2, okay, the material you're supposed to study in those respective weeks. Now, for example, if I've opened up week 1, you see that this bar up here, it has small clips which would explain me that, and then the next thing is the same thing in transcript, and then again the next topic, and so on and so forth. I can just keep on clicking, and I can just shift ahead one after the other. Then this is the screen that you would normally see. Of course, you can expand it, and you have all those controls here. There is one thing that I would like to mention here, that many students quit these on the pretext that the accent of these people, of course, Americans speak very fast English as such, but then there is a solution here. If you can see here, 1x, you can actually control the speed at which the clip is playing in front of you. If it is too fast for you, you can just close it down and slow it down, sorry. And in fact, you can run the transcript also, in the sense you'll get the subtitles while the person is speaking. So all this is so very convenient. Even though you may be alone and attending the class, you don't need someone to monitor, channelize you. It's so very customized, I would rather say, to help you, that you hardly need anything else as far as these things are concerned. So this is the interface that you would be looking into. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Let us speak about the advantages first. Most of these courses are free, I would rather say, or at least reduced courses. Reduced costs in the sense they would charge you fee only for the basic running of that particular course. EDX does that. But nowadays you'll see that because there is a lot of craze as far as MOOCs are concerned, some courses are charged some fees also. There is one more aspect about this, that some platforms will give you concession if you are enrolled in a particular college. And some students immediately after the induction, they text me saying that, sir, where can we get our college credentials? So I would say we are working on that, and very soon students could have their own college credentials, so that they get back to the platform saying that we are enrolled with the SP college, and of course you could avail whatever concession, 25%, 30%, 40%, 50%, whatever it is, you could surely get it. The second advantage is global access, richer and wider community. You'll see that you get the best of the professors who are on best of technological cameras, and they have the best of the experiments that they can show you that you understand that particular topic as such. Third advantage is global networking. You are from India, somebody from Pakistan, somebody from China, somebody from Germany, they are literally sitting next to you. You are in a global network. Somebody from Australia is just sitting next to you, and he or she is learning that particular certificate course or that course with you as well. At times it is self-challenging also. Okay, it's not a cakewalk, let me tell you. But then if you can challenge yourself, yes, that's a major advantage. It challenges you also. And it is it's non-passive, unlike video courses only. You'll see that I spoke to you about correspondence courses, that you got those CD-ROMs and you just keep on hearing to what is happening. You'll see that you have to actually interact as far as these courses are concerned. You have to submit assignments, you have to give MCQ tests, and so on and so forth, and they are real time. So of course you could comment and somebody else would reply to your comment, and so on and so forth. So it's so very interactive. It's a huge advantage. But then of course everything that has an advantage will have a disadvantage also. First disadvantage is there is a lack of quality across all courses. Let me tell you, not all courses are the best. Some courses are done for the sake of it. So consequently, you have to be very wise, and you have to be very cautious when you select a particular course. You have to see who is taking that particular course. You have to search for the history of that particular personnel. What is the repute of that particular person in the academic circles, and so on and so forth. Which university does he belong to? What is the status of that particular university? Does that person have any ranking in that particular university, and so on and so forth. Secondly, of course, this is a point wherein Indians are at a disadvantage. We'll see that we are into a habit of individual instruction, right from kindergarten to middle level school to high school and higher secondary, and so on and so forth. We want our teachers after us. And as a consequence, you'll see that there's going to be nobody doing this for you as far as a MOOC is concerned. You have to be self-focused and you have to be self-driven. Okay, that in a disadvantage sense is there is a lack of individual instruction here. Cost to produce, of course, going about a MOOC is not a simple thing. You have to collect books, read from them. You have to transcript your lecture. You have to record it. And then, of course, you'll have to hunt for a platform which is going to launch your course and lecture, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of cost to produce these things. Then course variability. You have to come up with different courses, and so on and so forth. There has to be a motivation and self-learning in individuals. And of course, then another disadvantage is as far as accreditation is concerned, assessment. You'll see that often, many times when it comes to examining you, and I'm going to come to you about Swayam in some time. Let me see how much time I have with me. Okay, we have around 10-20 minutes. I should probably take it up to 11, not beyond 11. Then there are verification issues. Okay, I would do a course. As I said, I've done a course from Harvard. But then if my institute says Harvard is Harvard, we don't know. I want you to do my course as such. So there are verification issues. And you have to be very clear on terms and conditions before you take up a particular course. If you are doing it for some particular extra credit, which is a part of your academics and so on, see that you get in touch with your teachers, you verify it, and the teacher says, okay, you can do this. Okay, it's only then that you go for it. Otherwise, you would be. There have been cases where students come to me and say that, so my teacher is not allowing me this, and I've already invested money in this. See, money is a different part. Your interest. If you are interested, go ahead with it. A few hundred of rupees here and there should not matter actually. So you may get credit for it, you may not, but then remember you are learning something out of it. Learning is the most important takeaway of all MOOCs, I would say. Then MOOCs in the Indian scenario. Let us see what Indians have for it. Most of them are free, so Indians are very fascinated with this word free. So that's a major thing as far as the Indian scenario is concerned. The most important thing in the Indian education system is MOOCs require no eligibility. Unfortunately, in majority of course, it is changing, and the new education policy will change it further. But as of today, you will see that you can't shift faculties. If you are in a particular faculty, you are in science, you're doing physics, and you are interested in music, you just can't correlate with that. People say you are not eligible for that. You need an eligibility certificate and validation and so on and so forth. So these are significant issues in the Indian scenario. Then another thing that interests students is no need to attend classes at fixed times. It's off campus. You just can wait. In fact, when I used to do this, they used to run it live at around 8 o'clock in the evening, and the internet speed then, way back 5, 6, 7 years ago, used to be very slow. So what I used to do is I used to download these lectures, and I used to see it say around 11:30 or 12 o'clock in the night. Then the next thing is, say we are fed up with exams, isn't it? And we have the typical type of exams. You'll see that MOOCs have their own innovative assessment methods. That's very interesting, that would say. Most of them are completely objective. You know the fact or you don't know the fact. You just can't go beating around the bush. If you want to enroll in a particular course, you just click a button and you have enrolled. You don't have long queues, which is the most common scenario and unfortunate scenario as far as Indian education is concerned. You can offer multiple courses at a time. It is not that, again, the Indian system does not allow you to do 2 degrees parallelly. Here, MOOC allows you can do one course here, you can do one course here. You are attending a course in some university from the US at the same time you are doing a course in Australia as well. The most important thing, you can continue reading and updating yourself in this age of pandemic. This is something that I've added early morning, that struck to me, and I've added this as the last point. Okay, during this phase of pandemic, when you're supposed to be locked, you can just sit in your room, you switch on your laptop or your desktop, and you start attending and listening to any of these things as such. So it's something which is fantastic as far as Indian education system is concerned. What are the frequently asked questions? Do we get API points or credits? Yes, the new education policy, and in fact presently SB College also will offer you credits if you are doing some course which has been permitted by your teacher. You can't just do it on your own and then say that, okay, I've done this. APS goes with teachers. It's not concerned with you. Free, yes, most of them are free, but nowadays some of them are asking fees. The auditing is free many a time. That means you can just go through the course. But when it comes to evaluating, you have to pay some fees. Then many students come to me, sir, suggest a course. How can I suggest you a course? MOOC has to be taken up as far as your liking is concerned. I am no one to suggest you a course. I am from geography. Someone comes from physics and says, sir, tell me some courses from physics. I am not an expert, let me tell you. I am an expert as to how to handle MOOCs. I will not be in a position to give you, okay, you do this, this is the best of the course in the world, and this is the best of the course. I can't tick you 4 courses and, okay, go and do this. This can't be done. You have to be focused. You have to select your own course. Okay, so that is never ask anyone to suggest you a course. That takes some time. Of course, you'll have to read through. Many of the students just want to skip that, and that is why. But you see, the more you read, the more you can evaluate. Okay, this is a good one. This is a bad one. Okay, so then where do I collect my certificate? You'll see that many of the platforms just mail it to you on your mail ID that you are registered with them. Can I download lectures? Yes, many of the lectures can be downloaded. It's only a few of them who do not allow you to download. But as far as teachers, when I report to them as teachers, yes, they do allow me to download as such. What about the accent? Yes, there could be a problem with the British accent, the American accent. If you're doing it from African countries, the Africans have their own English accent. But as I said, there is a remedy for that. If it is very fast, you can slow it down. It is very slow, you can just pick up the pace, or you can control the speed at which the lecture moves as such. So these are the few FAQs answered for you. The future of MOOCs, as I said, a student can start a particular MOOC, and you can use those MOOCs. The new education policy, in fact, is through for this, that you could do a few things outside, and of course they are allowed to you. You can include those credits as a part of your syllabus also. So this is what MOOCs are now coming to, and that is why they are gaining a lot of importance. You're getting the latest and the best at your doorstep, at your laptops, I would rather say. In fact, these high-ended Android phones are handheld laptops, I would rather say. So all this is possible nowadays. In the Indian scenario, I would say the they say the National Remote Sensing Center, or the ISRO, has been way ahead of others as far as MOOCs are concerned. They run their own MOOCs. Of course, it's again a bit Indianized. They have their time that you have to attend to. You can't download, or you have to go to YouTube to screen them again, and so on and so forth. But this is the pioneer. ISRO is pioneer as far as handling MOOCs in India is concerned. Beside that, I spoke to you about Swayam. It is basically an initiative of the Ministry of Human Resource and Development. You can, I've put that URL in the earlier slide. You go to that particular URL, you will have this in front of you. Now, I want you all to take a look at this thing towards the right corner, right top corner of your screens. Sign in and register. If you're not with them, you have to sign in. You have to register. They'll ask you your initial information. They'll ask you for your mail ID, and they'll send you the credentials, your credentials there. You can use those credentials, and then, of course, you can log into these. You'll see that the MHRD has roped in the major national coordinators. Okay, you'll see from school level to college level, and in fact, postgraduate level. You'll see that from the UGC to the NIOS, and of course the AICT, all of them are involved in all these courses. And of course, you can go into the details of these that you can see in front of you on the screens, and you can handle the course accordingly. One thing about SWAYAM is that they will take you the courses, but as far as certification is concerned, you have to go for what is called as an exam, which is conducted by the National Testing Agency, NTA. This happens in your own respective city, but then many times you have to invest at least half a day to go there, write an exam, and of course you pass in it, and so on and so forth. So that is one difficulty as far as SWAYAM courses are concerned. This is after ISRO, I would say this was the thing to happen with regards to MOOCs in India, the NPTEL, the National Program on Technological Enhanced Learning. This you'll see that the major IITs of India came together and they started launching these various MOOCs in the technical field. Okay, Swayam now gives you different, it's a plethora of events happening around you. NEPTL is technical, something related to science and statistics and mathematics. And at the bottom, you can see that bottom right side, you can see you have the certificate that NPTEL gives you as well. Fortunately, you'll see that towards the left side, you have the statistics. You'll see people from, it's not only Indians, but you'll see that the quality is such here that people from other countries also are visiting and taking courses with the NPTEL. Okay, so that's very interesting and important. That's happening with Indian education also. Coming to the Savitribai Phule University initiative, you'll see that you have this GIAN, that's Global Initiative for Academic Networks. You have similar courses. You can just log on to the university, and then you go to e-learning initiatives. That's towards the right side of the drop downs. You drop down there, you'll have various of these, and GIAN is the last one of them. You can go into the details of what are the courses that are being done here, and if any of them interests you, you can of course enroll them. And I believe most of them are free as such. I'm not very sure about it, but most of them are free as such. I believe that was a bit fast, but then I had to finish it by 10:50. I finished with my lecture. You can see my contact details, my phone number, and two of my mail IDs here, my official mail ID and my personal mail ID as such. I am on Facebook, and I have my own YouTube channel also. In fact, this very lecture can be viewed on YouTube in some time from now. Thank you for a very patient listening. Because it was a screen show, I was not able to attend to a lot of queries. I'll just come back to this lecture on YouTube, and if I'm able to answer your queries, I would answer them. Also, I'm again very unfortunate that I'm not able to take question answers as such, but you can obviously post your questions to me personally, and as far as possible, I'll try to answer these questions for you. Thank you for a very patient hearing. I hope it has enriched you, and of course, it will persuade you to take up MOOC courses, not only in your subject, but something that has been exciting you, something that you something that you always wanted to do as a part of learning in your careers. All the best for that. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.